It is official. Today is the day I have lost my mind.
Oh?
I am having a crisis over these New Year's glasses. Imagine something existing in stock of at least several million without considering overproduction and backup stock in every party store across America. An item that litters the ground of New York alone on a single night in the range of several 100,000. Just disappearing. Becoming obsolete. Every year.
Good lord.
I cannot help but think about the estimation of how many still currently exist. Like, an immeasurable amount must end up in the garbage without a doubt. But there must be a box hidden away in a warehouse or storage unit or a shed from 2012 with the silly novelty glasses all wrapped up and prepackaged, in at least one city in 1,000. Then there has to be singular pairs in houses all across America, held onto by sentimental people or people who just forgot to throw them away. Then you have to figure that each year some percentage of those singular pairs are lost or damaged or simply not valued anymore. And therefore, the stock of novelty 2012 New Year's glasses goes down. Each year. Something that is so cheaply made and sold, of such little worth that a majority are thrown away the day after. Are seemingly the most rare object to find, and still among the most valueless at the same time. And this has happened with every year. Since 1990. I wanted a pair of 2012 glasses previously as a joke, an ironic bit to play off of at some stupid fucking party. But now I want one simply as proof that there are still a few out there to have, that it's still a possibility to find a pair. This whole revelation doesn't even take into account the manufacturing process of the glasses and the equipment necessary to produce the amount of glasses that existed, and how those all disappeared too. Much less the number of glasses in countries outside of America that don't exist anymore.
You're really focused on this, huh?
I am really fixated on it at the moment, yes. Really fucking me up. Something that exists in such high volume can seemingly disappear overnight. Year after year.
I mean... Do you think maybe they melt some to remake ones for next year?
I'm sure that's a possibility. I don't think that many people really value shipping the glasses back for that, since they're just cheap, flimsy things and it's cheaper to make more cheap, flimsy things. There are so many perspectives on this.
I'm amazed that you're so enthralled by this.
I don't know why. It really hit something in my mind. I can't stop thinking about it. The nature of humanity is to fixate on the end. However it is you view the end, it is something we factor into each decision we make. Each project we begin, each object we interact with. We, as a species, are obsessed with dying, and, oddly enough, the end of humanity as a whole.
For example, I'm sure you all were around for, or at least have heard about Y2K. Another example would be Harold Camping proclaiming the end of the world on May 21st, 2011. But the prime example that we'll be focusing on today is the end of the year 2012. Movies, video games, TV shows, the news were all ranting and raving that, holy lord, we're gonna die on December 21st, 2012. Despite all of these prophets, these fortunes, all of these people saying, oh my god, we're gonna die, we're still here, and still have been here for 8 years.
Dates in which hundreds of thousands of people individually joined in anticipation of a rapid end to everything we knew. In the year that this video is being created, there have been many global events that mark incredibly trying times. The thing is though, as humans, no matter how desperately we try to enact control over the invention of our demise, we go on. Maybe it is a distraction from the slow death that marches on, whether on a global scale or within an individual context. Regardless, we live through it. There's an idea in 1776, a webcomic by John Boyce that has severely influenced the creation of this video, that particularly clicked with me. Something that just kept coming back to mind. For some context, 1776 is centered around a futuristic sci-fi reimagining of American football. If you haven't read it already, I highly suggest it. It's an incredible story that holds a lot of ideas about humanity, and I promise it's not just about football, though it is also about football. There's one part in the story that involves Jason, a character partaking in a particularly odd football game, in which the goal is to collect as many Koy Detmer autographed footballs as possible. In the second to last chapter of the story, entitled New York City, Jason calls up his wife Emily. His last lead had run cold. To anyone's knowledge, there were no remaining Koy Detmer footballs. He lost, a loss that he would wait 400 years to receive. Jason, sitting atop a skyscraper above Manhattan, expresses a thought that really got to me.
I mean, we got here, you know? We got here. We grew up thinking one day it'd be our time to go. And it just never was. It never was. Going under that water is like going back through time. Everything is like it was. All the buildings were built, all the cars were neatly parked, all the garbage cans were bolted to the sidewalk by people who were afraid to die. It was the meticulous craftsmanship of terrified people. We didn't know that we'd have each other for good. Back then there was real fear, real worry. The world was all fucked up. I remember feeling so alone. Like I was the only one fighting it.
Several months ago, I fixated on finding a pair of those novelty New Year's glasses from 2012. So far, my search has proved to be fruitless.
These glasses are by far one of the most elusive items in the world when they pass their expiration date, and yet before that, you can get packs upon packs upon packs of them. These glasses are still being made every year no matter what happens, and they always will. I talked about how people were afraid of 2012 ending because people thought it was the end, period. But it wasn't. Some people thought 2020 was the end, period, and it wasn't. We have to celebrate that we're still here.
The end of the world. The disappearance of the novelty New Year's glasses. This is my Koy Detmer. This video is a call to action. I'm asking for help finding a pair of the lost novelty glasses because I've been unsuccessful on my own.
We all stared it down and kept on going. And we did it together. We were all in it together. It felt lonely. But we were never alone.
I don't want to be alone, but I need help with that, and I think we all need some help with that. I'm asking you, the viewer, to join me in the search.
My personal request in this odd game of Find the Glasses is, if you find a pair of New Year's glasses, I want you to keep them. We all could have gone a long time ago. We all could have died, but we didn't. I want you to use them as a reminder that no matter how scary it gets, we'll still be here and that you are not alone.
This, like Jason's game, is a game of uncertainty. We don't have much time though, and the game has already started without us. If you want to play, you have to get started now.
Time is already ticking.